This is real life advice, folks. Okay. With me, Stephanie T. This is the Manifest Wisely channel, right? Um, you know that old saying, be careful what you wish for, just might get it. You just might get it. So, whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're wishing for, wish wisely, right? Same as Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, right? When they're big final scene, and he was like, "Oh, he chose poorly." Right? You can choose well for yourself. You can choose poor for yourself. Um, how are you going to be better off in the situation, right? And you know, and the collective, we do that without harming others, right? Because we're not trying to be karmics. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get some pulp tarot. Hopefully, you're enjoying my window treatments here since it is nice and sunny. There, I give you a little bit different view than what you're used to seeing recently, anyway. All right. I was going to mention that I've done quite a few readings lately. I'll do want that, that I'll have this reading today. I don't know how many more for our celebration on the 4th, which is a holiday for the United States. So, you know, don't plan on seeing any readings from me then. If I do, it's going to be a fluke type thing, okay? Because I'm planning on spending time with family, okay? So I'm not gonna be here in the studio. You know what I mean? Doing readings, okay? So alrighty, let's see what the collective energy has today. If it's not resonating with you today, don't sweat it. It's just not your reading, yeah. But there is a lot of energy in the atmosphere. 6 of Cups with this overall on the bottom of this Ace of Wands. Did somebody's get into reverse? Oh my goodness, what is going on here? I don't know. Maybe it's just that one. Um, so collective, somebody badly would like to reunite with you. They could be worried that, yeah, you're giving your passion to others. Okay. They may even be trying to spy on you in a way. Like, however they are able to do it. Okay, I'll put it that way. They feel very strongly about it. Okay, Queen of Wands. Yeah, they find you very attractive. You could be a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, have that aspected in your chart. Either way, and even if you don't, they still see you as mysterious, alluring, attractive, somebody that they want to be romantic with. Okay. Okay. So if you haven't looked up your chart yet, please do that. Um, and there's more than one kind of chart. Also, you have your Western chart, your Vedic chart. There's another one. I can't remember the name of it right now. And see similarities and what you resonate with, okay? Because during different stages of our life, we're doing different things, are we not, right? Maybe you are in the middle of a job change right now. Somebody's asking in the chat their when do you get your dream job? I was actually talking about different jobs the other day in a reading, so that one may be resonating with you personally more than this one today. What I'm getting, Justice card, Libra energy. So, the collective, I feel like whoever is wanting to approach you knows that you don't mess around. Okay. You could also have Libra aspected in your chart. This person could be a Libra coming towards you. Um, somebody who wants to, say, work within your boundaries, right? Or your guidelines, type thing. where you're not messing around. Yeah, that's the truth. Ace of Swords. This person feels very strongly. They worry when you are not with them. Okay, almost like when your dog is like in a different room and they're like, oh, oh, oh. It's that kind of, um, you know, so when they reunite with you, it's gonna be like, so this is kind of, like when a dog is happy, like the dog is happy to see you. The dog does not care where you've been. The dog does not care how long you've been gone, right? That dog is going to be like, oh, 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 right? Well, I have seen some dogs on there, but most of them are just, they'll come right running back to you. And this is kind of how this person feels. Okay. Um, so collective, you might have like a little bit of RBF in terms of like, why is this person so excited to see me? You know what I mean? Because, especially if you've been in separation from this person or you were not aware of their feelings on the situation. Okay. Because collective, frankly, yeah, you've been doing other things. Yeah, and you've been releasing yourself from this. Hmm. So you can get back to this and your joyfulness. Okay. Things are more smooth sailing. You're starting to see the right people to work with here. Three of Pentacles. Increasing your own pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. You know? So, yeah, whatever you've been working on is because you've been following your intuition. You've been going with the flow. All right. Going with the flow, but not being falsely led by the crowd. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can go along with the river, right? But you do have the option to get that boat to the shoreline and get off that path at any time. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, I was just, yeah, enjoying the ride and not doing much else. Okay. So, like, what did they expect out of that? Um, okay. Let's see. Remember, collective, this is not a personal reading. So if it's not resonating with you today, don't sweat it. Okay. So let's do a little bit of clarification here with the Rider Waite. I'm also getting that somebody needs to work on their goals, their goal planning. So, whoever that is, I mean, if that's whoever's on the lazy river, just like, you know what I mean? Never taking any notes about where they're going. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever been that person that gives somebody a ride somewhere and it's like they have no idea where they're at? And it's like, isn't this your neighborhood? Like, shouldn't you know where some of these things are? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you haven't been paying attention too much, have you? Okay. Anyway. It's funny. Some people think you're gonna notice things and then comment on them, and sometimes we understand that noticing things and not commenting on them can be quite powerful, right? Because if we did comment on them, then they would take it as an insult, right? And it's like, yeah, you can take your little karmic whatever you wanted to do to me, and I rebuke that, right? Go teach somebody else a little lesson. right? When people are always offering to teach you a lesson in order to humble you, right? That kind of thing. And it's like, well, it's not that I didn't notice, it's that I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be rude. Right? Didn't your mother ever tell you if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all? So, some of these folks that come out of the woodwork trying to be like, let me tell you, like, again, you need to feed into that. You can just be like, okay, then, you know, I'm just saying, collective, I don't feel like those are your people. I just don't. Okay. Um, and I'm not saying that you might not have had good experiences with whoever, but at the end of the day, you're not going to them for advice. Okay. You may have learned from their behavior, right? But you're not going to them asking them, what's my next move going to be? No, no, right? So, until that time happens, right? You can just be like, yeah, let me know when I can sign up for your class. I'll be the first one to register for it. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, some folks think a little bit much of themselves, you know? And especially collective people that are supposed to like encourage, like their part of their job description is to encourage imagination and growth. And sometimes instead it's envy and jealousy that takes over. And so these people are unable to contribute to your growth in that way. And then that becomes part of your growth, right? Yeah, the moon card. So that might be getting revealed to you in a certain number of ways or with certain circumstances, associates, whatever you have it, right? And and collective, you realize that when you were taking care of what needed to be taken care of when nobody else was caring if you were even able to walk, right? They're like, oh, who? I thought they were on the side of the road like 15 years ago. That kind of like, yeah. It's like, yeah. Guess what? It's like they're not the only one that can change, right? Anyway, you know, what do they say? The audacity is high. Well, maybe it's this humidity. The audacity is thick. Okay. Like people around here thinking that somebody's lining up to get audacity injections. Okay. Okay. Deflate gate. Right. Blow it up and then. you know, like I can't believe the amount of money that's been spent on plastic surgery. I just, I mean, just out of for preference purposes. That to me is just wild, wild. And I mean, if you look at our society, there's reasons for it, but yeah, it's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money, And it's like, is that what we're trying to teach our kids in school? Well, one day you'll be able to afford this surgery, and then in order to be accepted in some way. What is that? What is that doing to people's mental out there? I think it's like not good. Just saying. So, and I think as collective, there's a lot of people out there that are okay with life, you know. Um, I was just at one of those grill places for lunch. The line was a mile long, you know. People want something decent to eat, hot, doesn't cost a ton. You know what I mean? And you're able to get it your way, right? Sometimes we make life a lot more complicated than we need to, right? Yeah. So if you're weighing those decisions, it's like what is making this more complicated right now? So, is that something you need to let go of, possibly? You know, Set it aside for a while. Which, okay. I went and I have an older vacuum and the switch is not working. Guess what happens? Plugs it in, turns it on just fine. She's like, sometimes you have to set it aside. I was like, yeah. I was like, this has been in my garage. Like, I've been, telling myself, like, I've got to get this in the car and get it to the repair shop. And then what happened? But I let them keep it anyway, just to go over, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. But it was just one of those things, you know? Anyway. Knight of Swords. Yeah, this person could really want to talk to you soon. They could have air in their chart as well. Whoever this person is that wants to get together with you. And again, this kind of like puppy love, dog like energy. Okay. This is just what I'm getting. Okay. Three of Cups again. Yeah, this person wants to celebrate with you. They may have seen you out celebrating with friends, associates, co-workers, that type of thing, and they could have felt extremely jealous because they see that you're looking good. They could have even been out celebrating, and it's like they were distracted by you type thing, and then it was like, hey, and then they're like, hey, where's your head at, dude? And then they're like, right, It's like, yeah. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like a curiosity. This is like the curiosity that killed the cat. And collective, you might be getting protected from this person, like even in a legal way if you have to, just because it's like they don't need to be around you type thing. I'm not saying that that is everybody's situation. I got that very specifically, kind of, where it could turn that way. Mm-hmm. Um, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Pass. Pass that. You can pass that on to it's like the showcase showdown, right? And you make it to the end on The Price is Right, and it's like the very first contestant has the option to bid on the first showcase or pass it, right? So I feel like that's kind of it, like your option. The sort of justice is on your side, whatever you choose. You could be like, oh, I don't really want to prosecute, or you might be like, yeah, I do want to prosecute, or however it is, and like it's gonna work out for you in that sense. Which it's funny, when I was yeah. the type of strength you have, collective, again, Leo, moving forward. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles, you know, pain and power, all that stuff. Where you're just like, yeah, you might have thought you had me on the bottom. You might have thought that was going to break me. You might have thought a lot of things, but Paige has a lot to learn, right? And just like you may have, collective, had a lot to learn about how strong you are. You know what I mean? And how at the end of the day, you're like, am I going to let this Yahoo? No, no. This Yahoo has yoo-hooed to who many times. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's like, no. You know, when they say they couldn't act their way out of a wet paper bag, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Right? And you're over here, you know, taking your little lion for a walk. And you see how she's pressing the mouth shut, just like I was talking about earlier. Sometimes it's more powerful not to say anything. And they're like, oh, I thought you were going to say something, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, actually, I'm not saying anything. My mama said, right? Sometimes better bite your tongue, right? Or hold your tongue, okay? What did they make them do in the old days? They stuck them in the, you know what I mean? Or what they do the kids, right? And they put them in those one big shirt together and they call, well, this is our get along shirt. And they're like, here, stay in this shirt together until you stop fighting, right? Then it's like, well, what am I fighting for? Right? Then you start to understand that your purpose. And that's going to strengthen you. Okay? For some people that's their faith. For some people that's their family. It could be your career. It could be your you know, feeling kids, you know. Specifically, if not your career, family, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Okay? So, yeah. I guess the thing is, collective, if this person does come to you, you might not be very elaborate in your thoughts. Because remember, no is a complete sentence. Just like, you know, people are like, oh, I was just on it. Well, you had the option to get off at any time, honey, and you didn't. So now you're here. And yes, you have to hike all the way back up to there. And it's your own little two legs that's gonna, right? You know what I mean? Like nobody else is walking this path. Okay. You know, that's why we're gifted to incarnate in these human bodies. You know, be it from God or the aliens, however you want to, you know, however you want to slice and dice your framework for us being here. We're still here, bro. I don't care if you're an atheist. I don't care if you're the most God loving creature, blah, blah. We are all still here together on this planet right now. That is not changing. It's just, it's not, it's a fact, right? Facts of life, facts of life. Right? And we are not going to get along with everybody. Sometimes, maybe not ever again, right? It could be like that, where it's like, yeah, we're adults now. We don't have to wear a get along shirt, right? You know what I mean? But, you know, you know, it was last week. It was we were in the middle of a heat wave, and I went to this concert, and it was outside. It was so hot, and the lines were so long, and it was just like, but it's like, yeah, this is supposed to be fun, right? But I feel like people like used a little bit extra patience because they realized like this is hot. This sucks for me. It probably sucks for the people working. this is just going to suck kind of because of the heat until we go home. You know what I mean? And because of that, like, say, community thought, right? It was like, yeah, we got through this. Okay. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, you could throw a bitch fit. You could do this. You could do that. Well, is that going to change the fact that it's how many degrees outside and you chose to be here right now? Okay. So, you know, after a while, there's not enough people left to sue, right? And the thing is, even if you do sue somebody, some of these people are broke anyway. So, sometimes you're just best off picking up, using your time wisely, right? Um, the same with like maybe if there was some kind of wrongful termination or something, yeah, you could pursue that. It could be costly though. Just saying. I'm just saying. And that costs your time as well. Do you want your life to be sucked up by that? Or do you want to live life and enjoy your life? Because you can make that choice right now. NOW now. Wow, 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 oh my God, really? Yeah, really? If I could go back in time, I would handle us differently. Hilarious. All right. Yeah. Cher says, if I could turn back time. They even made a movie called The Time Machine. Right? From the Jules Verne novel. I wish I could be fully honest with you. Yeah, so this is definitely collective. Somebody that saw you out. Maybe they were celebrating with with their friends, or you were with your friends or something, and they were seeing you looking good, and they weren't able to say anything about it for whatever reason. Yeah, maybe they're just a cowardly person. Like the cowardly lion, but here you're getting strength instead. That's what you're made of. Okay. Now, the cowardly lion in the movie and in the book finds his courage, right? Collective, not everybody makes that choice, but you can, right? The courage to do healthy things, the courage to put some of these people, situations, attitudes about life behind you. Like I said, right now, like today. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. That means taking accountability, right? That means when the stuff hits the fan, we can't look around and say it was so and so and so. Right, right. Okay, yeah, that's what. Okay. This person saying, why can't I tell you the truth? So again, this page, energy and collective, you're standing here with the justice. I think they know, and that's kind of thing. It's almost like it's getting, I feel it like right here, like it's getting caught, like before it hits their throat. Like it's almost like they were told that they were supposed to tell you and they have not, and they can't because they can't get it out because they're too much of a coward to do it. And here you're going to be focusing on your strength. Again, that Leo energy. Okay, yeah, so could be an air sign. Yeah, that is feeling very OCD with their energy when it comes to you. Okay. So yeah, it's sad a little bit, but look, right here, don't put up with my BS. It's because yeah, look at that. How could you ever forgive the mess I made? Some of these people collective, they have chosen this, right? Where it's like, okay, you know, if you want to go on the roller coaster, that's fine, but just know that someone's over here has motion sickness, so they're not gonna go on the roller coaster, but they'll wait for you to be done. Okay. And then it's like this person goes on the roller coaster and then they're like, oh, I just want to go one more time. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then they go again. And then it's just like, and then it's like, however long later, and you're just like waiting. It's like, okay. So obviously, this person likes this roller coaster better than me. Right? Problem number one, choosing an inanimate object over another human being. Relatability problems? Maybe. Maybe. Alexa, play Communication Breakdown on Amazon Music.
Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin from Spotify.
So, yeah, but then it's like, again, you're waiting for this roller coaster, and then like they start getting sick on the ride, right? And then you're like, okay, well, it's time to come off. They're like, no, just give me a puke bag. Right? And then you're like, so you hand them the puke bag, and then they're like, oh no, now I need a puke bucket. Hand them the puke bucket, and they still won't get off. This is where they're not handling it. Okay? They're doing this. Okay? And it's not. Yeah. So I don't know, collective. I really feel like this person thought maybe you were going to be in a situation where you were willing to do anything, and that's not the case at all. And what you've been willing to do is what, the higher power has and your highest good has instructed you to do. Whereas this person did not follow those instructions. Okay? Just like, you get instructions to do your homework, you get instructions to brush your teeth, right? And you get those instructions because there are benefits that pay off because you're doing those things, right? So, and like the person that was talking about a specific job that they want. Okay, that's your goal? Great. What steps are you taking to get towards your goal? Right? Are those actions supporting that, or are they going against that? Right? How do you need to align? Okay. So, and then that's when, this happens, right? It's like, oh, well, here, it's right here. I can do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's taken a little while. Well, yeah, because things worth working on, Eight of Pentacles, right? Take effort. Y'all, we used to talk about microwave society, instant gratification back in the 80s, okay, when, microwaves and television ruled. Okay, now we have the internet where it's even faster. But fast does not always mean best, right? I mean, I was just hearing this on the radio about Jose Canseco and the book about steroids that he wrote. There's very famous athletes that have been busted for steroids. That day they were the best. That day they crossed the finish line first. But then it was found out that, you know what I mean? So it's like all that training, right? Or maybe they weren't training that hard. Maybe that's why they ended up, I think they were all training pretty hard too. But, you know, it's like, why throw it away? Anyway, that's all I have for you today, collective. Again, I might have one more message before the weekend, but until then, please do manifest wisely and stay safe out there. Bye bye.